Welcome guys to my Luke Skywalker lightsaber collection video of epic proportions. Come hang out guys, I'm going to talk about each and every one of these Luke Skywalker lightsabers, pros, cons, prices, which Luke Skywalker lightsaber is best for you. Don't go anywhere. Hey Star Wars fans, thank you so much for clicking on my video. This is Finding the Force, where I cover everything Star Wars, including theme parks, bam, video games, bam, and especially lightsabers. And as always, I'll be your host, Obi-Dad Kenobi. Hello there. Likes on my video are always appreciated, and it also really helps support my channel if you watch the entire video. Thanks a lot, guys. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Luke Skywalker lightsabers. Well, that got out of hand quickly. I don't know, what do you guys think? Does Galaxy's Edge and Force Effects count as two? Are we counting emitters or pummels? I love each and every one of them differently. That's a lie. So why don't we start in chronological order, which coincidentally goes in order of price, and we'll start with this oldie but goodie, like the first real plastic lightsaber that all the younglings in the neighborhood finally got their hands on back in 1995, Power of the Force Kenner telescoping lightsaber. Just in case you never saw one of these up close, actually has a lot of realistic qualities to it. I really like it, and even has the clamp from his stunt saber. Quick, easy activation button, but I mean, the striations in the grip look good, the gray upper neck, the emitter, not bad, and I think you can still find these for maybe cheaper than they were in stores like 30 years ago. Got this for like 30 bucks on eBay, had to hunt around a little bit, but it has historic value. Okay, check this out, guys. Okay, I don't even know. Can you tell that it's... There you go, a little bit of light in there. It's basically a flashlight with 2C batteries stacked on top of each other. No swing sounds, but when telescoping lightsabers have this first chunk, this big chunk right here that's fixed, you know you can beat your friends with it real good, and this thing's not going to wobble or break. Short little clash effects, but I mean, whoa, wow. I mean, younglings were dying for an awesome plastic Luke, and they also made a Darth Vader lightsaber. They only had to wait like 12 years, you know, to get one after Return of the Jedi. There was lots of like other kind of flimsy, inflatable versions before this came, but this was the bee's knees back in the 90s. Let's hope that the cheapest saber doesn't fall and knock over the entire collection. I'd have a big pile of scratched sabers. All right, so Disney improved their Luke saber. This is actually a fixed blade, even though they have like a huge collection of removable blades with belt clips and stuff. This is kind of an old one. They haven't done a new model of this yet, but here, take a look up close. Here, look at this. We got like the chunky pommel down here, pretty good speaker. The activation box is just a wee little bit small, but hey, it's $30. You know, it's the same price. This will totally keep your younglings happy and enjoying the whole rest of their trip in the Disney parks, which is where you can find this. Got the black lower neck. I think this neck is actually bigger than the old 90s version. But super loud, accurate swing sound effects, flash on clash. Check this out. It has, multiple clash effects. It has the lockup when you hold some pressure on the blade. Yeah, buddy. And during lockup, it even rumbles in the hilt. For 30 bucks, you guys. Seriously. So there's some major corn cobbing you can see here, but you know, whatevs. And deactivation. Boof. Yeah, all the Disney plastic sabers where the blade is fixed has that cool lockup feature, and the ones with the removable blades that are kind of better for costume, those don't have lockup, but I think they still rumble and flash on clash. I mean, for 30 bucks, that's money well spent. All right, moving on. We've got the 1995 Black Series version of Luke's lightsaber. Also a fixed blade. Looks pretty clean. Check it out. Bam. There you go. This was, again, this was the jam. 2015, that's not even that long ago, but lightsabers have come a long way, you guys, in the past few years. I picked this up used, you know, got a couple dings on it, but that's cool. The activation box looks super authentic to the film. The plastic triangle arrows are in the correct formation, which not all of them are. We'll get to that later. I like the color of the neck. It's more of a tannish color, if you can see that there. You know, accurate emitter cup. But again, 2015, I've done a lot of comparisons with the Force Effects and the Galaxy's Edge because they're really equally priced products. Very similar, but very different features. So for example, not really accurate sounds at all, kind of muffled. However, this sound is louder than the Galaxy's Edge. Action-packed clash effects, no flicker though with the blade. The coolest thing about these Black Series sabers, listen to this. Super accurate. I don't know what kind of chip they've got in here, but way more accurate with the sound triggering than the other Galaxy's Edge saber for the same price. But the big downside is the blade doesn't come out. So if you bust a light here in the blade, then you're kind of out of luck. And there's a small group of folks that are trying to convert their sabers, but rather than spending a ton of money to convert your like overly thick Luke saber, it's probably a better idea just to shell out some cash for a new one. So let's delicately put that one back. So like I said, these two sabers are going for like $30, probably you could find them. And the Black Series though, kind of hit or miss because there's a lot of collectors out there that like to collect just those Black Series Hasbro sabers. So this is probably in the range of $150 to $200-ish, which is also the same price range as the Galaxy's Edge. Oh boy. I think it's about time I block my wife from my YouTube. This one has a super fancy upper, more accurate upper half to the saber with the emitter in the neck. Check it out. There we go, guys. I couldn't help myself. This was it. My first metal lightsaber I ever purchased. Awesome on display and has a thicker neck that holds the blade. However, there is one detail. These arrows are in the wrong place. I double checked the film because in Return of the Jedi, we only see these buttons light up when he's in the cave. It was a deleted scene. And if you check it out, the green is supposed to show green blade, green activation going out, red deactivating, but they switched the arrows. Either way though, it has super clean sound, accurate pummel. I love that the tri-ring here is rigid. Nothing drives me more crazy than when it jingles around and hits the saber, and it can even leave metal dented marks on your saber. Activation box, gold is the theme color here with the neck and the activation box. This turns it on, this little switch here. The rings feel great, not sharp on the hand, and nice thin accurate neck. Very shined up though, not even close to being weathered, brand new. So what we do, unscrew the display neck. I jokingly call this the choking pelican upper half of the saber. So as you guys can tell, it definitely changes the shape of the saber, but hey guys, think of it this way, that our sabers are on display a lot more than we really want them to, right? So, you know, when you're geeking out with this, maybe your girlfriend's asleep or your wife, and you're in the family room by yourself, who cares how thick the neck is? You know what I'm saying? In the dark, it don't matter. Another huge advantage to the Galaxy's Edge sabers, I'm not kidding, is that there's 3 different size blades, small, medium, and large. The last I checked, you can only get the medium size with the Savi's Workshop experience, which that's the blade I'm using right here. Boom, I put new batteries in it. Pretty bright. And you guys hear that activation? That's straight out of the movie, guys. Listen to this. Yeah. Now, the only thing that is kind of deceiving is these sounds. Listen to the swing sounds. They sound kind of sluggish, as if the saber's like... Right? Kind of sluggish sounds. It makes it sound like the saber's moving slowly. They kind of corrected that with the Kenobi series Galaxy's Edge saber. But we do have, I don't know if you can even catch that. It's flash on clash. The whole blade lights up yellow. Here, I don't have to hit it. I keep forgetting that. Watch this. Accurate clash, snapping clash sounds like from Return of the Jedi. Bam. So, you know, movie accurate, you want like the 36-inch blade, but I think 31 is the best. And like the 26 just seems too small, unless you've got like the Obi-Wan saber, you're trying to do some spinning stuff. But looks really clean, and the upper half, again, looks great and would be a great display piece. No one's going to know that it's overall kind of thicker than like the real replica. No one but your total Star Wars fanatics are going to know. All right, next, this is the Black Series Elite Luke Skywalker lightsaber. Just came out. Let's take a closer look. Bam, there we go. We got the green arrow in the right place. This turns the saber on, and this whole pad here is a large button. Comes with a tri-ring. Drives me nuts. I mentioned this in the video. That's going to get old fast. Isn't denting the saber yet. Flat pommel, riddled with little marks and trash cans and stuff. We're kind of getting used to that now. Overall, pretty thick saber in the hand compared to the replicas we're going to get to in a second. But still feels great and has an accurate, more of like a deeper gold color. Each of these Luke's almost has a completely different colored neck. More of a richer, it's a deeper, darker shade of gold. That's how I would describe it. Feels great though, accurate emitter. And what we do is we're going to unscrew, really, I haven't seen this before in any other saber where like the whole neck, cup, and even top of the grip comes off. Oh, and we have one for the blade. But first thing we want to do is insert the blade. Bam, just like that. And we're going to slide this emitter all the way down and screw that into the grip. I think you have two choices for fixing this tri-ring, by the way. One, if you want to like force this thing out, is that the tri-ring is like this. If you bend one up and when you put it back in, it'll have this kind of a pinching force, and that should help keep it in place. Or also, I've heard that some of the Loctite products are really good if you want to add a drop in there, because I mean, you know, you may not keep this on your belt and stuff. You just want it to stay in place. So, you know, the blade has a teeny bit of wobble, but this lightsaber is really more for fun and not so much for replica and looks. But check out the sounds. Let's see how it sounds. Hey, accurate Luke sound. For the activation, good sensitivity. Let's see if I can swing it a little bit. Triggers the clash effect sometimes. Not bad though. But it's packed with features like Lash Deflect, Lock Up, and then if you have the blade pointing down, you get Tip Drag. Boom. And of course we can't forget Flash on Clash. Very different from the Galaxy's Edge. It's not the whole blade. It's like this chunk that lights up. And deactivation. So not the most accurate sounds, but still good and packed with blade features. So it's totally up to you. Has the much more accurate display emitter and neck. So, but the one downside with these sabers though is, again, there's only one blade per saber. You can't buy replacements, and the price of these are really going up there. They're getting really close to $300. And the Galaxy's Edge, right now you can actually buy the box set on Shop Disney, and it's like a little over $200. So $50 or $80 cheaper than the Force FX Elite, at least when it comes out initially before the sales and Black Friday and stuff. Next, we've got a treat here. This is my converted Luke Skywalker lightsaber. This is really kind of a Frankenstein saber. This is a converted Galaxy's Edge saber. So the guy took this and sent me this. The guy who converted this for me is Pitforce5. He's kind of hit or miss on social media. He actually posted videos on YouTube and he had them ready to ship. So that's pretty cool. Hey, look at that. One thing he did is totally fixed the lighting so the green arrow is pointing up. That's awesome. Another thing he did that I appreciate is he really kind of scuffed it up and weathered it. It's really smooth, actually. I don't have to worry about fingerprints, but you can tell Galaxy's Edge activation box. So this actually turns the blade on, and then there's just one button activation. The auxiliary here is the one button configuration to run the saber. But there's three main advantages to this. Is that the first is that there's like 2 or almost 3 inches of blade depth in this thing. Super strong with the blade tube, right? 2, bigger hilt means bigger speaker. Crazy loud. So I think in like a cosplay convention setting, you wanted your saber to be heard. This is the way to go. This bigger speaker makes a big difference. And third, the chassis inside can be bigger, which holds a bigger battery, which means that it'll last longer, maybe hopefully for an entire day if you were geeking out, having fun with your friends and not have to worry about bringing it back up.
Are you a Jedi? I am.
All right, let's do this. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom! Yes! Woo! I don't have the volume up super high. Bam! Clash. Blaster. Lock up. And force effect. Oh, yes, this is his return in The Mandalorian. Oh, I loved it. Totally freaked out. Love seeing Luke in that series. I know I have so many sabers. I almost want to sell this one, but can't bring myself to do it. All right, next. Now, this saber has quite a story to it. This was made by a guy who no longer makes sabers, and he actually made this in his own shop, and now he teaches at a university in Texas how to machine like chunks of aluminum to make your own lightsabers. But his name is Ray Fleet, and he sold quite a few lightsabers to fans under the name Texas Custom Sabers. But I had to send it to someone else to get installed, and I finally got it back. Here, let's take a close look at it. So I didn't realize until just recently that this overall look is very strikingly similar to the one they have displayed in Star Wars Launch Bay at Disneyland as Luke's The Last Jedi lightsaber that we see briefly with his flashback moment with Ben Solo. Has more of a weathered look to it, very deep copper neck, doesn't quite match the activation box. It's a 2-button. We have power and auxiliary at the bottom.
Jabba, this is your last chance. Free up or die.
I'm not gonna lie, I love the blinking lights. There we go. Super bright too. Grip feels great. So this whole emitter up here unscrews down here at the base. I had this whole emitter cup here, custom machined by a really talented guy, Calamayan Customs. I'm probably butchering his last name. I'm sorry, bro. But he makes sabers and parts, and he's very talented at machining and matching the threading to what was already existing on the neck of this saber. But I had to machine the special emitter because it came with the small neck that only had like a 1/2 inch of blade depth. And the reason why I love blade depth so much, in case you guys are new to the channel, is I love play fighting with my son, doing some dueling, go out, at night and goof off and have fun for a little while. And so this gives me 1.5 inches of blade depth right now. Oh, so much blade depth. That's why it's hard to part with this saber, because 1.5 inches for a Luke saber is very hard to find. Let's check this out. Yeah. Dude, nice and loud too. Great clear sound. Yeah.
I'm Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight and friend.
Yes. Smooth swing. Oh, there's that accent swing. You guys hear that? There we go. You can adjust the settings. One thing I forgot to mention, I'm a huge CFX fan. That's just kind of how I was brought into the lightsaber community. I know how to easily add, remove sound fonts, and I finally have a config that I totally love, and it comes from Scrap that works. He's like my #1 installer. And another installer I highly recommend in case TJ's busy is also Kessel Custom Sabers, because when it comes to Neopixel sabers, it will probably save you some money if you buy the empty hilt that you want and send it to your installer. And of course, it might take them a couple of months or so, but you're going to get an awesome product from an expert. Yes. So this is my #2 Neopixel Luke lightsaber. Let's check out #3. All right, next, I just reviewed this recently. This is the Artsabers Luke Skywalker Neopixel. Has like a much darker theme to it. Let's take a look. Bam, here we go. Much darker, kind of, I want to say it's pretty close to a gunmetal, actually, for the pommel. Lower half of the saber activation box. These don't actually activate the saber. The power and the auxiliary are actually the red and green triangles. Very accurate activation box with the strong rails here on the sides. Grip feels great, not over machined and sharp. You'll get that with some models. There was one where I felt the grip and it just felt really sharp. You have to take some sandpaper to that. It's going to give it a weathered look. Nice strong gold neck, much more of a gold color. Accurate looking emitter cup, but here's the best part. I totally said this in the video that I wish I had found this. This is what I was looking for the whole time when I got the last one machined, was this whole upper half unscrews and we have a replacement emitter with more blade depth. So again, this comes from Artsabers for a screaming good deal, man. Comes with everything you need, blade, charger, instructions, tool, you name it, it comes with it. A full year warranty and also 1 inch of blade depth. And personally, I've really come to like the look of this emitter here. Let's check it out. There we go. Yeah. Yep. Yes, please. Oh, lock up. Yeah. There we go. Got a little tip drag going there. Woo! Dude, sounds really clear. A nice good volume for the smaller speaker size because this hilt is a bit thinner than the others. And we can't forget gesture controls. Boom! For the win! All right, and my last saber. So back when I was dying to get my hands on a Luke Neopixel saber, I really wish I had bought this one. I wanted to buy this one, but I ended up with that one. And this guy, the conversion just came way later, although I would have been happy with that. But this one is by far, of course, my most expensive, and it comes from a company you might have heard of called Vader's Vault. Now, Vader's Vault is known for being a company that completely operates and manufactures here in the United States. And they pride themselves on being the most accurate Luke hero lightsaber. Let's take a look. All right, now what I'm going to say first is that everything from the waist down, as accurate as can be when it comes to the Luke hero saber from Return of the Jedi. Awesome activation box. It's operated by these 2 buttons here. Great ventilation. This has excellent sound. And I love, of course, see what I said with the tri-ring? If you bend one up and one down, it gives it a little bend to it, but it's rigid. It's not going to clang. Now, they actually have 2 different options for the upper half of the saber. This whole thing unscrews.
Silent to die.
Oh, don't say that, Luke. That's so sad. The whole thing comes off, and you can buy a whole separate emitter with the uneven rings and the smaller cup, which is movie accurate. I'm talking screen, movie, prop, replica accurate. Dang. Check that out. Bam. So this is what I was drooling over, but this thing cost back then like $1,000. So somehow by a miracle, I found this on sale for $800 in a special lightsabers group, and I had to jump on it. I've been seriously drooling over this I'm not kidding you, for years. For like 3 years, I wanted this, and I missed 2 runs of it because I couldn't pull the trigger on it to spend that much money on it. But now it's probably time to sell a couple of these back here, I think. But let's take one more closer look. Actual copper neck, which matches the activation box here. Looks beautiful. I'm glad it's not chromed out. Grip feels great. And this is the extended emitter, which gives you 1 inch of blade depth. This is what I wanted. Play with my son. Let's check it out. And I have to say, this emitter feels fantastic. It feels super, super snug to my blades. If your blades happen to be a little bit too big for your saber, don't sweat it. Just get a little bit of sandpaper and just kind of just sand a little bit here and there and keep trying it in your saber till it fits perfect. Oh, and you can hear how loud this thing is, you guys. So my second favorite Luke Skywalker sound font comes up. My 2 favorites come from Kyberphonic, just a coincidence. Luke Grumpy Uncle version 1, and this is version 2, which I think sounds a lot more like his training with Grogu in the Book of Boba Fett. Check this out. Yes! Woo! You hear that? Yeah! Ooh, dang. Woo! Dang, those are punchy freaking blaster deflects, man. That'll blow your skirt up a little bit. Tip drag. Yes. And actually, fun fact, all the Vader's Vault sabers, they fully support CFX, which you don't see a lot of in the market. CFX is really easy, again, to add and remove sound fonts, and you adjust all the blade styles and stuff you can pick in hand. You don't have to use a computer and stuff. Let's see. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end of my video. I really appreciate it. And please comment down below, which of these sabers do you think would be best for you, your budget, and your preferences? Let me know, start a conversation, or join one. That's what the comments are for. As always, be safe, take care, okay? And have an awesome Star Wars day. See you next time, guys. Yeah!